God told me something in college that helped me stop comparing myself to other people. It is easy to compare myself in the fields that I'm in. The medical and real estate world are filled with people who are doing amazing things at a really young age. So much so that they feel like savants to me. So it's easy to feel like I can never keep up with them, that I'm always behind. And it's not that I wanted to compare myself and feel crummy for being less than compared to everyone else around me. It's more of that's how I grew up. So much so that when I got a six-figure salary, my loved ones thought it was a great idea to actually tell me how behind I am compared to my peers, people they know, and people who are younger than me, who are making 3 times more than I am making. And this sets an unrealistic expectation and burden upon me. Because I don't have their level of education and expertise, everything that makes them amazing at what they do and deserving of how much they make, regardless of age. I haven't been comparing myself to other people because God caught me in one of those moments in college. I just bought a house, and that's amazing. But a colleague of mine who was just about 3 years older than I am not only bought a cheaper house that is worth a lot more, he was boasting about how he was able to trick a bank into refinancing it for him so he no longer needs to work for the next few years to just focus on what he wanted to do. Not to mention that he was more financially savvy than I was at that time. So God told me that there are a lot of smart and amazing people out there who can achieve a lot of things they put their minds on. But the one thing that most of them don't have is God. And that without God, the height of their success is limited by human efforts, by their intellect, by their ability to get themselves to do what they need to do to get to where they want to be. It is all capped by human potential. But partnering up with God, our ceiling of success is as high as what God can do in our lives is. So it is actually not limited by human potential, and anything can happen. Everything I've achieved in life, I've partnered up with God in. I got my first house by the grace of God, a miracle that even happened. And a lot of people had to get together to make it happen. And that's the story of my life. Every achievement I have ever attained, I attribute to God's power, grace, and love. He always provides for me, no matter how undeserving I feel. God wants us to trust Him, because His plan for our lives is way bigger than what we can even imagine. And He does that because He wants the glory. He does these amazing things in our lives that we cannot possibly do on our own. Because then when people hear our testimonies of how our lives came to be, everybody can see that it's because of God that we got to where we are. And it is not by sheer human effort alone that we have achieved all of these things. God's already at the finish line. He already planned out our lives for us. All we have to do is trust and obey and have faith that His vision for our lives is way more magnificent than our vision for our own lives. And why this is amazing to me is because God knows who I am. He knows what I need. He knows who I will be decades from now. And He knows what I will need decades from now. He knows every single step we're going to take to get to where He wants us to be. So there is no point for me to compare myself to other people when God's plan for my life is different from God's plan for everyone else. And the fear in there is the question of, will I ever make it? I feel like I have been in this season in my life forever, and I have not seen breakthrough towards where I want to be. And the path forward for me was to just focus on one day at a time. And despite how behind in life I may feel, I can trust that this is part of God's plan for me because I walk with Him every single day and He guides my steps. So it gives me comfort to know that I am on track according to God's plan for my life. And part of the trap of wanting to be successful is this idea that material wealth will make us happier. But as someone who grew up with everything I ever wanted in life, I share 3 questions that I habitually ask myself that stop me from buying 90% of things. And I hope that helps you focus on what's important in life.